Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Merry Christmas, but also, bah humbug. Because I know some of y'all not going to agree with what I'm about to say, but screw you, subscriber. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Make the fight, man. Make the fight. Eddie Hearn don't seem to know what direction he wants to go. AJ Big Femi seems to be back. Got his confidence. Deontay Wilder got back in the ring. Think he got the wake-up call. Can't be out here smoking on that Appalachia, whatever the hell it's called. Can't be out here with Malik Scott with these big-ass pimp hats, pimp juice, goldfish in your goddamn high-heel boots. You got to bring it all together, man. None of this OnlyFans freak show shit going on. You got to be focused on boxing. And I'll tell you what, Deontay Wilder, for what he intended on accomplishing, he accomplished that and more. But believe you me, Deontay Wilder's not okay with going out the way he would be going out if he left the sport of boxing after this loss to Parker. Now, Deontay Wilder has 43 wins, 42 by KO, 3 losses. I'm going to tell you what, those Fury losses, I honestly felt like, and I still do, a lot of y'all don't agree with me, but you know, I'm going to remain consistent. I just feel like those fights, man, Wilder wasn't. I feel like those fights could have gone differently if the secret society wasn't behind Tyson Fury. But this thing with Joseph Parker, even though I believe the secret society was there in Parker's corner, Wilder should not have lost. Because if you look at his performance, he just shouldn't have lost. But anyway, he got his chance to put some rounds in. He didn't really let many punches go, but stamina wasn't a problem for him. That's one thing we can say. I think he needs to eat some potatoes. Needs to go out there and get him some little sweet potato and yams, bust down some saltfish, man, a little bit of rice, watercress, nice salad, and put a little 10 or 15 pounds on his ass. This thing running around here looking like an upside-down slingshot when you get in the ring with these 240-pound beasts. I mean, the right hand, he's been able to tranquilize him, but I mean, I think just like Gerald Miller needs to lose weight, Wilder needs to put some weight on. But that being said, I think that's what Wilder needs. Don't stop now. Don't stop now, Puff Daddy. You need to go out there and fight again. And the thing about this is, you look at Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, they both have 3 losses now. Okay? Wilder has almost double the amount of fights, but they both have 3 losses now. Now, what I will say is this. For Big Femi, Anthony Joshua, I don't care what none of y'all say. For the subscribers who agree with me, ho, ho, ho. For those of y'all who disagree, bah humbug. I'm an Ebenezer Scrooge. There's nothing that interests boxing fans more than still seeing Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. We just can't afford to have a Lennox Lewis-Riddick Bowe situation again. You understand? We can't have where these guys are retiring and we're not seeing the fights. That's stupid. I mean, they're just barely holding on. Barely holding on. So before the ship sails over to that island where they have the ayahuasca, Appalachia, whatever the hell is Wilder's over there drinking and smoking, right? Eddie Hearn needs to inject himself and say, everybody hold the horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. We're going to make this fight because I'm telling you right now, if AJ was to fight Flip Hrgovic, you know, a lot of us are diehard boxing fans. We're watching that because we're like, whoa, this is a very competitive fight. AJ is kind of, AJ's recovered and seems to be on the upside. Hrgovic has been in a holding pattern. But it looks like he's finally getting his opportunity to break out of that holding pattern and move up that ladder. The issue is, I'm telling y'all right now, Hrgovic is basically a Deontay Wilder. Been inactive, came and had 1 round. So now you're going to go in there to fight AJ. And I think AJ tranquilizes him. Simple. But I do think it's a competitive fight because Hrgovic's going to fight. Now, the thing about AJ and Hrgovic, I just don't think it creates the demand by the boxing fans like Wilder and AJ, because no matter what, you know Wilder, at any time you make a mistake, it's lights out. Unless he gets in there and just doesn't let his hands go. And if that's the case, Wilder will get, I mean, the thing about Wilder, right? He won't just get knocked out. It will be embarrassing, vicious, and frightening. Because when Wilder gets hit and hurt, like when Parker hit him with that right hand, y'all see, Wilder was stiff as a mannequin. As soon as he hit him, Wilder was just stiff as a goddamn mannequin. And then the other shot woke him back up. I was like, damn, Wilder was out on his feet. It was like when David Hay, them sparring videos, when David Hay clobbered Wilder with the wild right hand. Wilder was there, out on his feet, stiff as a mannequin. And then the follow-up shots woke his ass up. But my thing is, even though we know Wilder can get hurt, and Parker hurt him, and we know going in with AJ, there's a possibility that Wilder can get hurt. I don't think people like thoroughly comprehend the type of destruction AJ can do to Wilder. And Wilder, when he gets hurt, his body just goes. Like he just loses control of his body. Maybe because he's so tall and lanky, you know what I'm saying? But he just falls apart. But that's the same thing with Anthony Joshua. If he gets hit and hurt, he just seems to fall apart as well. So I still think it's very interesting. I still think it's competitive, right? Because this is something a lot of y'all don't know. Anthony Joshua and Wallen fought in the amateurs and sparred dozens of rounds throughout the years. It's like when Regis Prograis, when he was fighting Red Catch, they had sparred dozens of rounds already. So Regis Prograis knew that Red Catch couldn't hurt him. That's why when he got in there with him, he tranquilized him. Anthony Joshua, although Otto Wallen is a good fighter, Anthony Joshua knew what Wallen couldn't do, and that's why Anthony Joshua stepped to him and tranquilized him the way he did. So you see, that we gotta be careful to just say, oh, Wilder's fallen off, he should quit boxing. I don't think Wilder should quit boxing just because of that performance. I think he needs to leave that damn devil's tea alone and kind of build off of this bit of activity and then come back to his. He can't get back to his old form because he had Mark Breland and Jay Diaz working with him. But come back to just understand the importance of his jab, using it, changing up the speed, and coming with the big right hand and clean up left hook and keeping his distance. You know what I'm saying? If he can get back to that, he'll never be the Wilder that some people still don't want to give him credit for his wins, but the guy who was able to throw that jab out there, like Larry Holmes, the guy who was able to close the gap really fast and explode with that backhand right. If he can just give us 75% of that, I think Wilder has a good chance against anybody still. But he's not going to be able to do it just thinking all he's going to do is circle to the left, circle to the right, and think he's going to line somebody up and get that right hand going. Wilder can't punch while he's moving. He's not Lomachenko. Okay, that requires an extremely high skill set and IQ to be able to punch while you're moving. You know who else was good at doing that? And I've talked about it before. It's Keith Thurman. But for Anthony Joshua, I'm going to tell you right now, based on how they both looked, knowing that Wilder had Parker, who was very active. Parker had all the resources and conveniences that Tyson Fury had in those three Wilder fights. And Parker had the same team Tyson Fury had. So Parker had an upper hand going in that fight against Wilder. Wilder wasn't necessarily able to prepare the way he wanted to. I personally don't think he sparred. I personally think Wilder was more with Malik Scott. They were just dancing and acting crazy and just hitting mitts, and Malik Scott making him feel like every time he threw his right hand, it was like the biggest punch in the history of boxing. Like every time Wilder would throw the right hand, Malik Scott would exaggerate like the right hand was doing so much damage to him. You know, so it was all bullshit in my opinion. that Malik Scott, man, they just disappointed me. But that being said, I don't think Wilder could have really prepared for Parker the way Parker prepared for him, because Parker had he was equipped with the right team to get the job done, because they had already done it, like 3 times, some would say, right? But then you come and look at Anthony Joshua and Otto Wallin. Anthony Joshua already knew what he was getting to. He sparred, already fought the dude before. The history was there. So it was easy for Anthony Joshua to get in there and work on some things and know exactly what he needed to do to get the job done, because he knew what Wallin couldn't handle, because they guys been sparring, man. So he and Wilder, I just don't think I favor Anthony Joshua. I do. Based on those performances, I do. But I think it's like a 60-40. Because if Wilder lets his hands go, hey, the Parker fight changes. When Wilder was letting his hands go, Parker wouldn't do anything. What Parker was able to do was get underneath those shots and step into him, put his head into his chest. But when Wilder was letting his hands go, he really didn't do much. But when he did, Parker didn't have an answer. Makes you wonder why Wilder just wouldn't let his hands go. But with him and Anthony Joshua, I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Wilder. But I just think it'd be a little bit closer, because Wilder's not gonna come in there and not punch. He ain't gonna do that. Wilder's gonna punch, and AJ's gonna punch. The problem is Wilder can't sit back and wait, and that's what's gonna cause Wilder problems. Malik Scott has Wilder where he's sitting back waiting. Like, look, man, and this is boxing. The opportunity is not always going to present itself. And when it's not, you got to create those opportunities. And the only way you do it is by taking risks, okay? And setting things up with your jab, You listen to a lot of these guys, man, who did very well as professional boxers, man. I'm talking about the guys, the legends, man. And they all talk about, never, ever abandon your jab. And you can just look at, you ever slap box somebody? The guy who has the effective jab, there's always that fool trying to throw a backhand right, and they don't know what they're doing, leaning back and doing all this bullshit. Have no idea. But the guy who understands just a little point A to point B, jab slap, he tends to blunt everything that the other person is trying to do. And then once they get them frustrated, if you come back with the big overhand right, overhand left, you can slap snot out of somebody. But that being said, if they can just take those simple things, Wilder can bring those simple things into the ring with AJ, I just think you got I think we have an interesting fight. And I would much rather see AJ fight Wilder. So to me, make the fight. Quit playing around. There's a lot of money in that. The Saudis still want it. They signed a contract. I understand it was, contingent on somebody, both winning. But right now, money talks, BS walks. And I still think that's where the money is. I don't care what no one says. And we're going to see what happens. But I do think Eddie Hearn is going to suck upon a flesh out of Wilder and suck about a good, 10, 15 million out of Wilder's purse, because he lost. And Eddie Hearn's not going to sit there and allow Wilder to come in there and get no 50-50 split with AJ. Not at all. And that's something that Wilder is going to have to really look at and think about. That being said, y'all keep cool. I think they should make the fight. And I'm going to tell you something. If they do fight, I'm going to go and say this. All right? I think AJ should win, because Wilder seems to have checked out. But you just never know. You just never know with these fighters. If they misstep in one fight, come back in the next fight, and everybody's like, what the hell did we just watch? We thought this person was done. And they come back and they have a good stretch. And that could be the case with Wilder. Or it could be that Wilder gets in there just for the payday and he doesn't perform. You could get where Anthony Joshua comes in there and he doesn't want to let his hands go, because he knows, holy shit, I can really get hit by this guy and get hurt. Because that's one thing Parker did say. He knew. He was catching those shots and he was just like, Jesus Christ. This man hits extremely hard. Parker knew if he caught that clean, the fight could have ended up differently. So that just lets you know that Wilder's power hasn't gone anywhere. Just Parker was ready for that right hand. And plus, Wilder was telegraphing it, so he made it a little bit easy. That being said, man, you know, Bronze Bomber, I don't think he exists anymore. But after this fight, I think if he gets in that gym, he needs to bring Mark Breland back. Or go to Freddie Roach or go to someone else. Bring Robert Garcia, someone who's offensive-minded, you know. Get someone else in there. Get rid of Malik Scott, right? I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Let him be a cheerleader. If Wilder picks up someone else, if it's the Joshua fight because he wants to retire and they can make it, then make it. But goddamn, man, if they're not going to make it and Wilder wants to continue, get rid of Malik Scott and get with somebody. If you really want to continue with your career, yo, you got to cut the fat. You got to cut the fat, right? Lean some shit out. And then I'm sure he'll find success because he had fought it before. And I keep hearing people say, oh, he was fighting tomato cans. He was fighting bums. Everyone he fought, those kind of guys, they get out the shower to take a piss. Like, yo, them guys, all those guys are ranked in the damn top 10, man. But I understand. But we'll see what's up, man. I got Big Femi right now if they were to fight. But I just don't think it's going to be that simple. Because styles make fights, and Wilder may have that fire lit underneath him. We know he got it lit underneath that pot where he's boiling that goddamn ayahuasca tea and having them damn hallucinogens all in his ass. We know there's fire underneath that pot. But maybe he got a fire back underneath his butt to take his career serious, because I know he's comfortable, but could you imagine? You're like, look, I want to get out of this boxing thing. And there's man, who knows how much money? Let's say like $100 million there for him to fight Joshua. 100 million, 50, 60, 70, 100 million, right? And it's gone now. Even though he's probably got in his account, man, over $100 million, I'm sure. Could you imagine knowing that you had an easy win, lose, draw, an easy 50, 70, $100 million. And you blew it because you didn't get in there and perform. We'll see what happens with those two, man. I respect them guys a lot, man. Wilder, good family man. He's handling his business. I just don't like this thing about the hallucinogens. I don't like that. AJ, guy's always been consistent. Tries to take the high road on things, and has been brilliant in the way he's been able to rebuild himself, rebuild his brand, and get himself back in a position where everybody's talking like AJ's the GOAT. Nobody can beat AJ. AJ beats Fury. I was shocked to hear people say that now. But that has something to do with Tyson Fury getting there and Francis Ngannou putting that African power on his ass. Nonetheless, we'll see what plays out. I say make the Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua fight. More interested in Joshua fighting Flip Hergovic. I don't care to see that fight. I'd rather see AJ fight Wilder or AJ fight Fury. Simple. Keep cool, I'm in the breeze.